Hello guys, welcome to my channel. In today's video I want to discuss about characters who I think it's not very clear among the One Piece community where they stand exactly in terms of power. So I picked up 5 most controversial characters who I see a lot in those debates. So let's start and I hope you guys will enjoy. Number 1. Dracula Mihawk. So, since his first introduction in the series, Dracula Mihawk was known as the strongest swordsman in the world, and this title alone gave him the impression of a very strong character. And later on we discovered that he is a rival of one of the current Yonko, red hair Shanks, and also had daily duels with him. Also his appearance on Marineford War when he was pretty chill at the beginning, but when he finally decided that this is the time to get up and kinda do something, everybody in Marineford were curious to see what Dracula Mihawk is going to do. But he never seems to care that much, and because of that, he never showed us his full power. But for the same exact reason, people think that he is such a strong character, because he always seems calm and collective. I've heard people who put Dracula Mihawk above Admiral level, and I've heard people who put him underneath, and I've heard people even claim that he is a Yonko level. To hear such a high ranking for someone who barely showcased us his full power potential, it's highly impressive, but we can't be sure if those high rankings are justified or not until we see him in a fight. And because people put him in such a high pedestal, including myself, okay, I'm not saying that he's weak or anything like that, but we don't have the evidence. Therefore, I will put him at this list of powerful and most controversial One Piece characters. So for the longest time people kinda put red hair Shanks on a high pedestal, and I think that we all know why. Ever since we saw Shanks going on Whitebeard's ship and knocking people out like it's nobody's business, and also cracking Whitebeard's ship with his haki alone, plus he had a clash with Whitebeard afterwards, the person with the title the strongest man in the world, which make people be very curious about Shanks' strength and abilities. And his badass appearance on Marineford pretty helped to hype him up as well. So how strong Shanks really is? So I will not expand too much on this matter because I want to do a separate video about this, but I will say this. Since Shanks is a Yonko, I think it's safe to say that he is one of the strongest characters in One Piece. And the only people who could be considered as a threat for him might be the other 3 Yonko and maybe the Admirals too. So that's already put him at the highest caliber of power in the series. But to a lot of people, Shanks is considered as the strongest One Piece character, just period. And even though Shanks did pretty impressive things during this very short screen time he got during these, I don't know, 850 plus chapters, like seriously, think about it. We know him since the very beginning of the series, and yet we barely know a damn thing about this guy. So he did very impressive things, but there is no confirmation for that from the story itself. But people still want to believe that, even though we were introduced to Kaido more than 50 chapters ago, a man who people consider him as the strongest creature in the world. And in this arc in the manga we see what Big Mom is capable of, and we know that Blackbeard has 2 very strong devil fruit powers. Yet Shanks seems to be more chill, likable and a good guy overall, so people would prefer him to be the strongest character. But how I look at things, Shanks very could be the strongest character. I'm not saying that he is not, but until we don't have enough evidence, I would not say that like it's a fact. So for me, Shanks is in the top 3 strongest characters. He could be the strongest and he also could be number 2 or number 3. And I will do a video about who the characters that I think that could be stronger than him very soon, I hope. So stay tuned for that. So because Shanks is a very powerful guy and a lot of people would go as far as calling him the strongest character in the series, even though it was never stated, because of that I think he's very well deserved to be on that list. So we have known Marko for a while, even way before we saw his actual power in Marineford. From the very beginning I thought his power are incredible, and when we saw him exchanging blows with the Admirals it was even more impressive. But because his fight with the Admirals was not full-on fight from beginning to an end, we don't know if Marko can really mess with the Admirals to the fullest, and therefore we don't know how powerful he really is. And afterward we saw this scene with the Gorosei when they talk about who the people who can defeat Blackbeard, and besides the Yonko, Marko's name was also mentioned there. And because of those events, People came with the assumptions that Marko equal almost Yonko level or Marko equal an Admiral level, even though, as I already said, we don't know that for sure. Therefore, I would add him to that list too. So, the most wanted man in the world. We actually don't know anything about this man, but we saw few things that we don't know exactly if he was the one who caused them to happen, including when he saved Luffy, but this was more like a hint to his powers. We don't know for sure if it was him or not, and because the Marines declared him as the most wanted man in the world, people assuming that he is the strongest character too. But we know that the bounty not necessarily says something about someone's strength. So to say that he is the strongest character because this high bounty is not necessarily accurate. Because of that, I will put Dragon 2 on the most powerful and controversial One Piece characters list. So this character right here, I absolutely love him. I think that he is a badass and he always was one of my favorite characters in the series. And when he came back in Impel Down, I was so hyped to see him again, and it quite surprised me, I won't lie, because the last time we saw him, he got defeated by Luffy, even though it was after he defeated Luffy few times beforehand, but still I was not expecting this from him. And I also feel like because of that fight alone, people were kind of underwhelmed by him, and people thought that he is a scrub now and he won't be able to do shit, but I think he surprised everyone when he had a few clashes with a lot of powerful people in Marineford, like Doflamingo and Akainu. So I would not say that he got stronger during his time in Impel Down, because he was in jail, so I don't think he could get stronger. I just think that he never showed his full power against Luffy. With all that being said, there are still people who believe that Crocodile is not a big deal and not as strong as people think. But from what we saw, Crocodile was pretty impressive, and the fact that he had a clash with Doflamingo, a very powerful Shichibukai, and the fact that he himself, a former Shichibukai, speaks volume about his abilities and strength. So for me, it should be on that list too. So this is it for now, guys. Thank you very much for watching. If you like this video or anything else I had to say, please like this video, and if you want to see more videos from me in the future, be sure to subscribe to this channel and comment down below what do you think and what should I discuss next. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you guys next time.